got a chance to see Honey Don't with Margaret Qualley, directed by Ethan Cohen. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanko, an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, I just got off a film just Friday at 3 o'clock in the morning for Tubi called, if you follow me on Instagram or something like that, you probably already know, but it was called Gangsta's Daughter 4. But I worked with some great people and we had a lot of fun, a lot of hours, but it was worth it. I hope it turns out as well as I think it does. But either way, we had fun shooting it, and I cut the hell out of my finger. You can't really see it, but I always forget which way is. There you go. Cut the hell out of that. This is the first time I have a Band-Aid off it. It was been bleeding up a storm. But yeah, it's the hazards of working on set. So let's talk about Honey Don't. I think this is based on a book series, and I don't know anything about it for the most part. But I was excited to see it because I've been a fan of the Cohen brothers, and that's before Ethan Cohen decided to go off on his own. And my favorite movie from the brothers is some people like Fargo, but I like Miller's Crossing. I like mob stuff, and I thought Miller's Crossing had a lot of flair, and it had its own little personality. The dialogue was snappy. I liked that. There's just a lot to like about Miller's Crossing. That whole scene with the trees. It was an excellent. If you haven't seen Miller's Crossing, I definitely suggest checking that out, especially if you like mob stuff or if you just like, the cinematic feel of some of that stuff. It was amazing. Either way, I think that Ethan Cohen on his own is just not working, especially since he hooked up with Trisha Cook. Trisha Cook is not helping him in the least. He really is not, or she's not. This is the second film they've done together, and there is a lot of similarities between the last film, Drive Away Dolls, and this one. A lot of similarities. I mean, you can tell that the same person wrote it. I think that Trisha Cook is like a sexual freak or something. There's just, I don't know. This is obviously the second time that Margaret Qualley is playing a lesbian and does freaky sexual stuff. So that's all, I'm sure that's all coming from Trisha Cook in this stuff. And, I'm going to do very light spoilers here. Not that there is much here to even talk about. Unfortunately, I went in hoping that I was going to get, a culmination of all these amazing actors, because you do have Margaret Qualley in here, who was also the lead in Drive Away Dolls. And then you had Aubrey Plaza. Love Aubrey Plaza. We have Chris Evans, who has obviously not done a very good movie in a long time. I thought he was okay in the Onion thing there, but where he played the villain. But other than that, he just has not been picking, very good films to do. I even heard the other one he did with Ana de Armas was pretty bad. Of course, he also played the villain in Gray Man. So it's been like, one bad movie after another. And he plays kind of all these villains exactly the same way, where he's just like over the top. Although he did have the little cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine, so there was that. But ever since playing Captain America, he hasn't done really shit, man. He hasn't done anything noteworthy in many, many years. Poor guy. But on the other side of the coin, so this movie is, I think they wanted to do, again, I don't know anything about the books, but I think they wanted to do like a gumshoe detective type thing where it was a female. And though I think Margaret Qualley is very beautiful and very talented, she is not a leading lady. She's just not. She is better off as a supporting role. She's not a Jennifer Aniston. She's not an Angelina Jolie. You know, she doesn't have all that stuff. She's not a Kate Blanchett. She's all these actresses have, you know, a very demanding presence when they walk in, you know, walk out on screen, and Margaret Qualley just doesn't have that. And not that she can't act, she can act very, very well, but even in the substance, Demi Moore carried that film. It wasn't her. It wasn't Margaret Qualley that carried that film, it was Demi Moore. Demi Moore was the catalyst on every piece of everything that came together. And, you know, if anything, Margaret Qualley's character in there was the foil. So, you know, I'd like to see her more in some kind of a romantic film or something to that effect. You know, where I thought this was going to be some kind of an action film too. It's not. It is not. It is basically a detective thing where, and there's the other problem, is that the Gumshoe Detective, first of all, the whole aesthetic of it, because I don't know if the books have been written in the 70s or whatever, but the aesthetic is completely off. I mean, completely off. It takes place in the desert, right? It's supposed to take place in Bakersfield. And I've been out to all the, I looked almost like Joshua Tree to me, which is where I shot my Western. But the desert type feel, there's very little around it. It's got little communities here and there. So I was shot in Albuquerque. At least it was shot here in the States. That's all I got to say there. Thank God, you know, we finally have some stuff being shot in the States. But so it's supposed to have like a little bit of community, which a lot of that area, everybody kind of knows everybody because it's so small. So for her being a detective there, we've seen almost the gumshoe type detective played by a female, which was Kristen Ritter, right? Kristen Ritter played a detective, Jessica Jones, and she had that ability of being that thing. Again, if you compare Jessica Jones to this, it doesn't fit. So what I'm saying about the aesthetics is, for some reason, Ethan Cohen thinks that in the desert everybody has reverted back to the 70s. I don't understand that. So all the furnishings and all the houses are all from the 70s. It's like he thinks that everybody who lives in the desert doesn't have any furnishings from the 2000s. And then I kind of thought it was the 70s. And then all of a sudden they were talking about, you know, cell phones, and she has a Rolodex. And then her assistant comes in and says, you know, I can make a database on my computer. They should have just made it the 70s, man. There was no reason for it not to be. Anyway, before we continue on into my rating of this, remember, too, that I am a writer myself. You could check out all of my books on Amazon. Remember, too, to like and subscribe as well. Share this video out there. But check out my stuff on Amazon simply by typing my name in, or there's a link in the description below. Also, my 4-novel quadrilogy sci-fi is called Destiny Aurora. It's been made into a board game, an RPG, a graphic novel, and of course I have the 4 novels. It's also on Audible, and it's lots of fun. It's a Guardian, Star Wars, Star Trek kind of mixed together. Lots of fun. You can also check out my YA fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor the Iron Witch. So if you love dragons and you love magic and all that stuff, you're going to love that one. And then my new comic, which is Fairy Tales of Terror, is being released on Kickstarter next week. Now that I've wrapped, I'm going to finish this up. And the QR code is here, or there's a link in the description below. I have a murderous Cinderella. I have Captain Hook chopping people up with his big hook. I have Tiger Lily from Neverland coming in and tracking them down through New York because they came through novels, and then there's a whole mystery about why they're there. But anyway, definitely check that out. It's going to be lots of fun. You can go to the QR code now, and I have 550 people waiting for me to launch that, but you can definitely sign up. All right, so let's jump back into Honey Don't. Also, she has a license plate that says Honey Don't on it, but her name is O'Donoghue. So if her name was like something that had "don't" in it, but it doesn't. I don't even know where the name came from and why would she have it on a license plate. They don't tell you. I thought there would be some kind of an explanation, but there isn't. But anyway, so again, she's playing a lesbian here, and the same thing practically they did in Drive Away Dolls. And, you know, there's sex scenes between them. If you don't, if you wanted to see Margaret Qualley and Aubrey Plaza getting it on and nudity, you're definitely going to get it here. But a lot of the characters are completely unused. They even have a scene, and again, this is why I say it's kind of freakish, because Trisha Cook went into weird things where they don't have to be. Like, she grabs Aubrey's hand and shoves it underneath her skirt and has her jacking her off in the middle of the bar. I'm not even talking about lesbian bar, I'm talking about a normal bar. So it's like, how did that add to the story at all? Because that's the problem, is that absolutely none of these characters are likable. Nobody in here is likable. I didn't give a shit. If they all were killed by the end, like a Shakespearean play, I would have not cared either way. Just didn't care. She wasn't really able to pull that snappy dialogue that I think that Ethan Cohen was going for, where he was trying to do this gumshoe thing, this Philip Marlowe type of thing, and it just didn't work. Where she was supposed to, she had every time somebody said something, she would come back with like this, one-liner or whatever, and it didn't come off cutesy. It just came off like rude. I don't know. Like you think you're being funny, but you're not. It kind of came off like that. And, then we, of course, whether it's Let's Go Brandon or we have MAGA or whatever, I really don't give a shit about your political views. And yet all these fucking filmmakers have to throw something in there just to throw it in there. Like she was beat the crap out of this one guy, and for shits and giggles, he had to have a MAGA thing on the back of his bumper, and she puts a bumper sticker on there and it says something about vaginas. That wasn't coming directly from the writer. It didn't match the character. It just was thrown in there by the writer, and it was so obvious. So all that little stuff gets you taken out of the movie. It's like, okay. So the funny part is that the most, I think, unique part of the film was the opening credits. That was my favorite part, because they did this drive along thing where you're seeing all the different stores and stuff like that, the businesses in this little area. And they put, I don't know if it was probably AI, but they put all of the actors and, director of photography, all that stuff, music by, all in the names of these stores and businesses where it looked natural. I thought that was pretty cool. After that, it was all downhill. So we start off with this French woman that is taking a ring. I missed the very, very beginning of it, but it's taking a ring of a cross off this woman that it was in a car accident. The car is overturned. She's dead in it, and she's taking this cross. You don't know if she's stealing it because she thinks it's valuable, but doesn't look valuable, or because she's trying to hide the affiliation with this church. And the church is, of course, run by Chris Evans, who is this reverend, and he's like an evangelist, And I think he plays that part pretty well. I did like his little sermon that he did. I thought it was pretty good. I did smirk. I don't think I laughed, but I smirked a few times at that. But if you have, and then Charlie Day is in it too. He plays this detective. The only time we ever see him is behind the desk. So he was like a day player on this thing. They shot him out in a day. I guarantee you. And she comes to him for, oh no, that's right. He was at the crash as well, at the accident, the turned over car. So he played 2 days. He played 2 days. But he does absolutely nothing. You could have removed him from the film completely and you would not have noticed. Then on top of that, the whole storyline with the church and Chris Evans' character, you could have removed that completely and not noticed. All these, so the woman that died in the car had come to her a few days prior, and of course she never really had a meeting. She called her and was scheduling an appointment and then died. So she wasn't even getting paid. It wasn't like it was a client situation. She decided to take it upon herself to investigate it. That's the storyline. That it's so not interesting at all. It's not like there's any twists or turns to this thing or any of it. Literally, that's it. And when you find out who it is, you're just like, really? Really? What happened to all of that we were talking about before? That whole other plot? Gone. Any other plot that was out there is never even figured out. Like, her father shows up. I guess that they haven't seen each other in years. Gone. Never resolved. The script is so bad. So bad. And it's not that the acting is bad. It's just that Margaret Qualley just doesn't fit that role. And on top of that, you didn't give her anything to work with. So she's not really figuring out anything. It's all kind of handed to her, little bits and pieces. So I don't know. To me, and I looked over at Rotten Tomatoes to see how far I was off, and no, everybody hated it. Everybody, the critics hate it. So anytime I'm going to see Ethan Cohen, especially with Trisha Cook, I'm not going near it. Whether it could have Kate Blanchett in it and Angelina Jolie, and I would not go see it because I know it's going to be bad. Ethan Cohen needs to get back to his brother because alone with this girl, she is dragging him down, man. He has lost it. The budget on the film was $20 million. $20 million. How? I don't know. I mean, it must be going all to the actors because it wasn't like the film cost that much. It wasn't like they had anything extravagant whatsoever. And there's no really special effects. There's a couple of, gunplay scenes in it, but that's it. Not big ones either. And they have to that means that the film has to make a minimum of $50 million. $50 million. That ain't gonna happen. I think it made $2 million this weekend. $2 million? Yeah. The film is a loss. So on a scale from 1 to 10, I am going to give this a 3.5. It's 3.5 out of 10. It is a bad film. Stay away from it unless you just want to waste your money, or you just want to see how bad writing is. The plot doesn't go anywhere. It's totally not satisfying, and it leaves so many outlier threads from other plot lines. It's just scary. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Have you seen it? Are you not going to see it? Have you heard bad things? Like I said, Rotten Tomatoes, everybody destroyed it. So Ethan Cohen, get your shit together, man. I don't think you're going to be making another movie anytime soon. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. And if you can, share this video out there. That would be great. And on top of that, remember to check out my stuff on Amazon by typing my name in or link in the description below. And definitely jump into Fairy Tales of Terror. Going to be launching this week. QR code is here. Again, link in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great week.